Love and light, family. I was just sitting here thinking to myself, wondering, does anybody else ever sit back and wonder or think to themselves pertaining to the issues, struggles, trials, tribulations, and obstacles that we face within this life? Does anybody ever wonder the reason as to why we endure such hardships and experiences, bringing about different traumas and pain and struggles? I ask this because as a kid, I always felt as if I did not belong here, as if I wasn't from here, as if I was out of place, as if there was something wrong with me. And since the age of 5, at the age of 5, I used to have visions of myself as an avatar. And when I say avatar, I mean the last airbender. But the crazy thing about it is when I had these visions of myself as an avatar, I was meditating as if I was waiting, but I was meditating on Pride Rock. And these visions that I was having at the time was way, way long before the Lion King, yet alone the Avatar, the last airbender, had even became a thought, yet alone came into creation. So with having these visions at such a young age, I felt as if my subconscious mind was attempting to try and tell me something, but I was too young to actually comprehend and understand what was attempting to be relayed to me at the time. So as life progressed, it brought me back to the thought processes of when I used to go and visit my grandmother back in Louisiana. I would go and visit her for the summer, and though I look forward to going to go see my grandmother every summer, because I have a lot of love for that lady. I love that lady with all my heart. In a sense, I kind of didn't look forward to going to go see her because she had this life-size, real-life Chucky doll. And this doll used to sleep in the same room as I did whenever I was a kid. And in all honesty, at that age, it honestly terrified me to the point to where I would be afraid to sleep at night. And I honestly look forward to morning time to come around so that I could see in the light. It brought about a sigh of relief to me on a personal level whenever the duration of our stay ended, solely due to the sensation of getting away from this Chucky doll. And upon leaving, it felt as if there was some type of entity constantly following me, to the point to where it made me paranoid, making me feel as if I constantly needed to look over my shoulder wondering who was there, yet alone what was there, as well as wondering why was it there. And for the life of me, though I couldn't see it, I felt it, and I just couldn't put my finger on the why. So going from there, my life fast forwards to being in Germany within the next year or so upon leaving my grandmother's. And I had an experience with my babysitter, who was the daughter of my mother's friend at the time. And for some strange, sick reason, this young lady, who was older than me, I was probably about 6 or 7 at the time. She was about 15, 16. For some sick reason, this young lady decided that she wanted to experiment, thus resulting in her robbing me of my innocence as a child by forcing me to engage in heinous acts such as eating the forbidden fruit from the tree of life, which was something that I shouldn't have experienced, yet alone had to have experienced at such a young age. And the first time during this act, as well as any time afterwards, it felt as if my soul was being sucked from my body, literally, as if it was siphoning the light within my soul and my body from me and replacing it with the darkness. Thus bringing about addictions as well as wounding. So within these addictions that I began to inherit from this such encounter, I began to have such a profound fascination with the opposite sex, being the female species. And upon my first actual sexual encounter as a young man, whenever I became of age to actually be curious enough to engage in those acts with the consent of myself and those other individuals at the time, I began to grow an addiction, not only to the women, but the acts in which that had taken place within these encounters. And like I said, not only was it just a addiction from a sexual nature, it was also an addiction within the woman creation within itself, to the point to where I felt the need to engage in relations with just about any and every woman that I could, whether she was cute, beautiful, not so good looking, decent, big, small, older, my age, married, separated, divorced. It really didn't matter, honestly. It was to the point to where I felt as if I was playing Pokemon. I just had to catch them all. And within this game that I was playing, it brought about a sense of confidence within myself to the point to where I wore it as a badge of honor to be able to attract these women and engage in these acts. And so from there, I began to experience hardships, financial losses, struggles, trials and tribulations, as well as failed relationships as time went on due to these countless arrangements within the exchanges that I was having with these females. Because at that time, I was unaware that I was inheriting their karmic debt as well as giving them some of mine. But I was also tying myself or making soul ties with these individuals only to bring about more trauma and hardships within my life. And so, as I said, I continued to have struggles as life progressed, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out why was it that I was constantly having these struggles, yet alone why I felt the need to look for love in all of the wrong places. And it brought me back to my childhood to bring it full circle of me, for one, not having my father in my life and him making the statement that you can't love what you didn't have outside of not having a relationship nor a bond with him, yet alone his last name. So that within itself made me feel as if I was unworthy, yet alone undeserving as a little boy. And then on top of that, being the middle child of 3 siblings at the time, my mother being a single parent, she constantly had to work in order to provide for us, whether she was married or not. She was constantly absent most of the time due to solely attempting to provide for me and my brothers and sisters. Thus, for the lack of attention as well as love was not provided in the ways in which it should have been to me, yet alone my brothers and sisters, at such a young age, which also aided into having a mother wound. And from there, it brought about a sense of abandonment within myself, as well as a struggle regarding finances, as well as love, which eventually began to trickle or overflow, I should say, into every aspect of my life as I began adulthood. And I say that because from there, I began to attract women and engage in relationships with individuals on a trauma bonding level, which in the end resulted in failed relationships, thus bringing about more trauma, pain, as well as unworthiness in regards to my self-sabotaging thoughts. So, as I began to mature and become consciously aware of these different things that was going on in my life regarding the matters in which I was fairly unlucky pertaining to love, I still managed to attract those individuals that were vibrating at a low frequency because I did not acknowledge, yet alone heal these issues within myself, whether I was aware of these issues or not, because I failed to resolve these issues that were going on within me. It brought about a projection, thus attracting what it was that I was projecting. And I didn't fully 100% wholeheartedly become consciously aware of the issues that I was bringing about to my life until after a situation transpired with the mother of my child. Only then, when the ending came about pertaining to that relationship, did I become consciously aware of the ways in which that I was sabotaging myself and my life, thus attracting these toxic individuals, yet alone situations, due to my toxicness that I possess within me, thus for projecting it, thus for attracting it. So, during my healing process, taking a break from relationships, going within, attempting to heal and overcome this situation that I was experiencing, which brought about a profound level of pain that impacted my life in such a profound way due to the considerable amount of pain that it brought me, simply because I had a lot of love for this woman. I wanted to build a life and start a family with her. And with free will that we all have within this lifetime, she chose to go a different route. And it wasn't the fact that she chose to go a different route which brought about that level of pain within me. What brought about that level of pain, which caused such a burden, so much shame, guilt, and grief within me and my life, which also aided into stagnation, insecurities, financial struggles, as well as taking a blow to my confidence, was the fact of the matter of her taking my child from me and keeping my child from me, knowing that all I ever wanted within this lifetime was to be a father. So now that I had that opportunity, the way in which that she felt that she could break me down and have power and dominion over me to prove that she was in control was by playing on my heartstrings and taking my daughter from me, as well as ousting me, making me an outcast, and cutting all ties and communications off amongst me and my daughter, as well as attempting to tarnish my name and my reputation by lying and manipulating the court systems with the information that she informed the court systems with in order to obtain full custody. And even with all of that taking place within my life, I still managed to continue my healing process, to acknowledge all of the ways in which I went wrong within our relationship, all of my flaws, all of my insecurities, all of the things I allowed to happen. I had to acknowledge just about everything inside and out and forgive myself for allowing these things to happen. But I also had to come to terms and accept it for what it was so that I could forgive her as well, in order for me to let it go with love and light. And by doing so, I began to build my relationship with God even more, and rebuilding my life upon a solid foundation with Him. And as I began to rebuild my life and put things back together so that I could begin to make forward progress, all of those things that were happening in the dark began to come to the light. And from there, I was able to start piecing the puzzle together, making it all make sense. See, the mother of my child, though she opted to move back to her home state so that she could be with friends and family, as well as attempt to chase her dreams, she managed to divulge information to me regarding her childhood whenever we were originally together. And that information she divulged to me was from her past when she was a child, which was that she was a victim of SA as a kid by one of her family members. And that began to awaken me to the reasons as to why, yet alone how we even engaged in establishing a connection with one another. And that was because the trauma bond. And throughout their relationship, I realized the toxicity within the relationship amongst us both, on both ends. But the thing that caused me concern was that she chose to pack our kids up and move back to the state, the environment that event happened to her at, as well as putting our children in harm's way by surrounding them with these individuals, being her family, who she intends to utilize as her support system. From there is where the issue comes in. Because any logical person that has been through such an event regarding that type of abuse from family would not want to put their kids in harm's way. Especially considering that if the individuals that did this damage to you as a child was your blood family and they didn't care about your well-being, what makes you think that they would care about the well-being of your children, being extended family to those individuals? And it also brings into question the individual's character as well as integrity, because you decided to go off and quote unquote chase your dreams to become a police officer within the city of your home state, making the vow to protect and serve. But my question to you is, how can you protect and serve a city if you cannot protect and serve your children first and foremost by surrounding them with those individuals that caused you such harm, as well as taking them to that environment? It also brings into question your character, because as a man, when I was with her, I was more than willing to sacrifice my happiness for our family. Did everything under the sun. Going to school, working a job, wasn't clubbing, at home, taking care of my kids. But when you went to court, the way in which the story was told regarding my reputation and the person that I am, it was as if the picture that was painted about me comes nowhere near close to embodying the individual that I actually am. Which leads me to the question of not only why, but who. And the answer to that would be the outside influences. The individuals who aided in the process of attempting to teach me a lesson because I made the refusal to not join their brotherhood whenever they made the initial offer before I created my platform. And this offer, as well as the refusal, came a week before I actually established my platform. The LLC was already created, but once that offer came to me, that was my sign and my confirmation right then and there that there were powers that be outside of me that were aware of the influence as well as the power that I possess within myself. And instead of me being against them, they wanted me to join them. But because I didn't join them and I refused, because the work that I do is for him and him alone, these individuals felt the need to attempt to teach me a lesson by strategically maneuvering pieces and certain individuals into my court situation in order to manipulate the situation for their desired outcome, solely in the attempts to break me, to bring about such a profound amount of pain in hopes of me deleting myself. Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way because I am still here. And with that being said, I'm not even mad when it comes to the decisions that were made regarding the mother of my child, because I knew long before the ending of our relationship the type of individual that she was, being a gold digger and an opportunist, as well as being made privy to her toxic nature and manipulative traits. So whenever I got the judgment back pertaining to my child custody case, I already knew that you were gonna slander my name. And I already knew that you were honestly in it for the money. I already knew that you made the decision to go the way in which you chose to go solely due to the money, because I know you and how you operate as an opportunist. And though you may attempt to try and hide it, I know that you were honestly just a pawn on the board. Though you may not have known that this was not about you in no way, shape, or form. This was solely about attempting to keep me quiet and to not stand up and speak my truth. Because these individuals know exactly what I am here to do. So, with that being said, just know that I know more than you think that I know. Especially considering that since then, especially upon a couple of the videos that I've been posting, the random individuals who magically have been appearing in my life with false offers, attempting to act as if they wanted to collaborate and partner with me, the random places that I casually go to on the regular, and a conversation comes up solely based off of some of the content that I have produced and put out there, which is the starting conversation being held within these conversations of meeting these individuals. I'm not stupid. I don't believe in coincidences, because I find it ironic that a few months ago, once I called it out, guess what? These certain individuals have magically disappeared instantly right after I posted the videos and got a couple of views, which lets me know that these individuals were in fact the individuals that I'm talking about that have been watching me. And I know that these individuals still are watching me. So know that we shall meet again, because I work for that man upstairs, and there's no amount of money that you can pay me to keep me quiet. I'm not like those individuals that you paid to come for me, that you sent my way in order to derail me, yet alone in the attempts to delete myself. God has awakened me to all of this. See, those individuals, they can be bought off. They're nothing but scammers anyway. Individuals who engage in Ponzi schemes, getting individuals to invest $500 or more into boards to where they can cash out with $5,000, $10,000, or $15,000 simply by getting 5-6 individuals to constantly keep on reinvesting $500, $1,000, $2,000 into a board, and it's cycling around to all of the individuals so that everyone can gain some type of cash payout. Those individuals are the individuals whose entire family went about committing fraud and scamming the U.S. government as a unit, an entire family scamming the U.S. government for PPP loans as a unit, so that they all can pretend to live a lavish life. Those individuals can be bought off. And then, not only after they have committed such heinous acts against other individuals within their communities in regards to opportunities and scamming and fraud, they felt as if they could go and hide behind a police badge and attempt to cover their tracks to keep from being caught, thinking that the badge would save them. No, honey, it will not save you all, because what you fail to realize is that man upstairs, he knows it all and he sees it all, and he hears it all. So no matter what you attempt to try and hide from the people, the public, he knows. And guess what? He's coming for you. You guys will feel his wrath collectively, because where you messed up was thinking that you were coming for me or coming up against me, not knowing that, in all honesty, you were coming against him. And that demigod persona that you have, thinking that you are almighty, I promise you, he's going to show you better than he can tell you. So, get ready for this storm that's about to get ready to come your way, because it is coming. And it starts off with me and you facing off in court for the custody of our child, because I will not let my child grow up learning, yet alone inheriting, these characteristics and traits that you possess within you as an opportunist, a manipulator, a liar, as well as an addict. Like I said, I know a lot more than you think I know. And I've got a lot of evidence. And this time, I will be in court. And I have a lot to say. So no, you wanted this war, you got it. Simple as that. And this one right here will go down in the history books. Because at the end of the day, somebody gonna leave unhappy. If individuals get to leave at all. So, to you individuals on the outside looking in that pick sides, just know once this situation is over, you'll be soon after. But also those individuals that felt the need to stick their little fingers into this situation, attempting to teach me a lesson, we're coming for you, just so you know. And there's no place you can run, yet alone any place that you can hide. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. We are coming. You can bet that. So, this is my story. And this is my why. Because that man upstairs, he loves me just as much as I love him. And no matter what weapon there is that is formed against me, it shall not prosper. And whatever battle he asks me to go and fight, best believe I'm front and center. Because he hired me for this. Therefore, none of y'all can fire me. Love and light. Stay blessed. It's on.